We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lungs system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lungs system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lungs system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lungs system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
Alex Abella, New York Times, notable book author, Emmy-nominated TV reporter, screenwriter. Soldiers of Reason, the Rand Corporation and the American Empire. Available where all good books are sold. His website's alexabella.com. Abella spelled A-B-E-L-L-A, alexabella.com. And if you just read publicly available Ford and Carnegie Foundation, they said, we're going to start wars so we can take over the planet to then end war. We're going to set up the UN as a fake socialist front to basically take over the planet. That's what we've gotten on that end. But he got it from one of their main think tanks where they were developing the specifics of their prime directive. And he's the only guy to ever get in and get these. And I guess because he wrote a book about the Nazis and a secret plan, they thought it would be something like that. But it certainly wasn't. Soldiers of Reason, please continue. I mean, go back into the nasty, horrible things they were planning, the ideas. You were talking about Eisenhower being shaken by them. That's even in Frontline specials about Northwoods.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Eisenhower, basically, he realized after a while that, you know, that nobody won in a nuclear war. But yet these people, led by scientists in Rand and their advisors, and also, leaders of the military-industrial complex, people whose industries, depended on Pentagon largesse, on Pentagon spending a lot of money. They kept pressing him, like, you have to increase the Pentagon budget. The Russians are coming after us. We have the missile gap. We have all these things. And Eisenhower was not buying any of that. In fact, he was the one who started then trying to coexist with the Soviet Union, trying to come to some kind of understanding, obviously without letting our guard down. I mean, he did authorize the U-2.
But if there was a nuclear war, the military-industrial complex wouldn't just get more funds, they would reorganize the entire country.
Absolutely. That would have been their golden ticket, to get in and just reshape everything without having to give anybody any excuses, because, it's a war, martial law, and it's over. It's over. It's not just the United States. It would have been the entire world. Now,
what about Northwoods? Are you familiar with that? Did you see anything dealing with government-sponsored terror, false flag events in your RAND research?
Well, I know that was some of the things that were considered by a lot of the people at the time. I know that you mentioned the whole Northwood incident, and that's after Castro had taken over in Cuba. I myself, obviously, haven't been born there. I'm familiar with that, and it happened all the time. How do you think we got into Vietnam? Remember, the Gulf of Tonkin resolution? That was totally fake. Everybody knew it at the time, especially in the government, and yet, we got into it, and we got into Vietnam. And, of course, Rand was there from the beginning, advising them, yes, get in, and then advising them, no, get out. And it's the same thing that happened in Iraq. At first saying, no, we should go in, and then once we were in, they say, well, but on the other hand, you're not putting in enough boots on the ground here in order to be able to carry out.
And we see the Pentagon Papers, our intel is leaked on purpose to end it. That's Rand Corporation, Daniel Ellsberg. We see the architect of the Vietnam War being former Rand, Robert McNamara.
That's right. He was never formally affiliated with Rand, but he definitely hired. He picked the brains of the Rand Corporation to run the Pentagon, because both those guys at Rand and McNamara were numbers people. Remember, but by the way, he had been in charge, the Ford Corporation, right? He had run the Ford Corporation. He was the youngest CEO at the time. He was only 40 when he ran Ford, at the time when Ford was really a major powerhouse in American industry. And he went from the Ford Corporation to the Pentagon, and he was chosen at the behest of people who were affiliated with Rand and Rand people themselves. And then he started picking people like Hitch, who was his controller, and Alan Enthoven, who went over there and instituted systems analysis within the Pentagon. And from there, that systems analysis approach was adopted by the entire U.S. government. So the relationship between the two is it's been there from the beginning, and it continues to this day.
And we see the model of the Pentagon using contractors to not just carry out illegal spying and their dirty work, but to really be in the command seat of the Pentagon and government agencies itself. That Rand model is now being duplicated like cancer metastasizing.
That's right, because you know why? Again, let's see if we can follow this. If you grab me a couple of seconds here, which is Rand was advocating a volunteer army. It was one of the first major institutions to come out in favor of a volunteer army. Why? Because it would favor a lot of people and a lot of industries that they're in bed with, but also because it really ties in so neatly with the concept that they developed, that of rational choice, which I was mentioning before, which is the concept that there is really no such thing as patriotism or religion, because people are all selfish creatures, and therefore the only thing that counts is what I can get for myself. Matter of fact, that if you get more than 4 people in the room, there really isn't any way that you can have a democratic solution to anything, because one's will has to be imposed over the others. And this is demonstrated by a mathematical sleight of hand. In other words, they lay a rational foundation for the changes in the approach to our government that would definitely change the physiognomy of the country and the way that we live today. That's how they were able to come up with the foundation for deregulating industries, for charging, in some places, charging you for getting going into certain areas of certain areas and charging you more for a license in different places, even for the deductible. I mean, the deductible on your health insurance, that came out of an experiment that was carried out by RAND. If you look at all their work, it's all off a piece because they're rational people. They believe in numbers. They believe we're all selfish, and therefore everything has to be done according to which is the way in which we can get the most profit and that people can be the most selfish about, which I think is a total denial of what this country is about. I mean, in this country, we shouldn't be, we've become consumers. But remember, we were supposed to be patriots. We were supposed to be people who were citizens, who had duties and responsibilities, as well as privileges. And now we've just become consumers. You know, we can get a good deal or a bad deal. And I'm sorry, but that's not the country that I grew up in. But yeah, this is the result of this perfidious doctrine called rational choice, which came out directly of the RAND Corporation.
So this is how they break it down to primitive mass movements of psychology. And Google and the Pentagon now admit they, quote, have software that can predict mass movements and even individual movements. And so they're always 100 steps ahead of us, knowing what our deepest desires are, literally like the devil. They know what we will sell out for when they take us up on the mountain, and we end up doing it for chicken feed, and they figured out all the different actuaries to do that. And I want you to expand on this, but I wanted to go over just some mainstream news headlines from today. Obama's internet wiretap move, just one small facet of total domination project. Here's Wired Magazine. Exclusive Google CIA invest in future of web monitoring. The investment arm of the CIA and Google are both backing a company, itself backed by the government, that monitors the web in real time and says it uses the information to predict the future. So how do they get the Pentagon people to go along with this? They have them retire. They go in to this software company, and now they get a profit from surveilling the public. Here's another one. Technology identifies troubled individuals, pre-crime, the Buffalo News. Imagine using the same technology to locate a lone bomber before he carries out his terrorist act, to identify a troubled veteran or first responder ground down by tragedies and violence. Stop imagining. Then it goes into law enforcement, now using all of this software of pre-crime where, oh, we're arresting you because the actuaries show you're a criminal. This is the system. You talk about RAND helping develop with DARPA what we know as the internet. Here's another one. U.S. should be able to shut down the internet. Former CIA chief says, the disgraced former head of the CIA. New cybersecurity bill gives Obama power to shut down companies that don't agree to go under Homeland Security control. Then they hand out little Homeland Security clearances to all of these private corporate people that the Washington Post reported on, Top Secret USA. Now they're under government control, plus they're getting supplemental money, and they're on a power trip, turning everyone into spies. Is this not the scientific dictatorship backed by the military-industrial complex, literally slowly taking over and re-engineering our entire society to where the only jobs you'll be able to get are basically in Homeland Security-related systems? This is taking over our entire economic and social environment where it's impossible to revolt because we are literally married to this system.
Not only that, we're not even aware sometimes that this is what's going on because we take as correct all these premises that we are always devoted to numbers, that we're always just seeking self-gratification, they're only thinking of ourselves. This is why when the United States goes to countries like Iraq or goes to a place like Afghanistan and meets up with hideous people such as the Taliban, but people who are not afraid to die, they don't know how to deal with that because those people do not think in terms of numbers. They think in terms of causes. They think in terms that go beyond the individual. And that's when we run aground. And that's the problem that, you know, we're gonna have whenever we go to a foreign country. But again, I mean, what I want to emphasize is that we have to get away from this. We have to realize that we're not machines. We're not economic processes. We are human beings. We are people, and we are Americans, and we are citizens, which means we have responsibilities, and which means also that we have privileges and rights. We're not consumers. We should get away from this whole concept of whatever we can get at the lowest cost, because we have to think that there are reasons, there are things that go beyond all this that are more important than money. And as long as we keep buying that kind of that kind of rationale for our thinking, we're going to keep sinking further and further into this morass, and we're going to be even more susceptible to the kind of technocratic dictatorship that you have been talking about.
Well, again, Mr. Abella, you went right to the documents and found the same thing. I'm just going off what they say. In fact,